everybody. It's Janet DiBenedetto. It's Thursday night, Ignite Your Life with Janet DiBenedetto. And tonight I have the pleasure of having my good friend Amy Sentis on. Amy and I have been friends for a number of years, and she's a serial entrepreneur like me. And I wanted to welcome her. Hi, Amy.
Hey, Janet, how are you?
Good, hon. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on, girl?
Not much, my friend.
Yeah.
Just enjoying a nice, cool Canadian spring evening.
Has it been
Is
chilly
it cold
there? Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
cold here. We had like a warm snap like a week or two ago, and it was like it hit like 70, and now it's like back into the 40s, and yeah, it's chilly again.
It's been nice here, but still chilly this time of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Amy, let's talk a little bit about you. I want to introduce our audience to you and talk a little bit about, first of all, how we met and our journey together as friends, and then where your life has been taking you. So could you just introduce yourself?
When we met. What year? I don't even know anymore. Feels like forever.
Let me think.
2012.
Yeah.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we both were involved in network marketing in a company that focused on health and wellness. And it was a great experience. At the time, it was, you called it, I am a serial entrepreneur. And I tend to go through this sort of like what the seasons of my life are at the moment. So for me, that was perfect for me at that time in my life, with my kids at home still and that kind of thing. And we did that right well. I mean, right up until, for me, a couple years ago. And then it was time to move on, to change directions for what I was looking for in my life.
What do you see as like a vision for your life that gets you to get up, create a new business, come up with a idea? Like, where do you get your ideas from for your businesses? So Amy right now has a candy store, right?
Yeah, I do.
So give us a little background of like the vision behind it. What made you decide to start it?
So this particular business, like my candy shop, it's called Sweetie's Candy and Gifts. And this really originated from a few things. Number one, I wanted a brick and mortar business. I wanted to be outside of my home. I'd spent so many years like looking after my kids, being involved in school things, kind of living for them. And I wanted to get back out into the community where I could do more. I could, be a little bit more independent away from my home. And I love a challenge. I like to see if I can challenge myself. So the reason for the candy store is we didn't have one. So I'm very analytical. When I look at opening a business or doing something, number one, I look at, the opportunity in the area. Is there anything around me like it? Janet, you and I've talked about this before. I call myself a 98 percenter. I know that people aspire to be the top 1 or 2%. I don't, not in business. I want to be a 98 percenter because I'm average and I'm not afraid of that. I embrace it because that means whatever I want, the masses want the same thing. I don't think extraordinary. I think very ordinary. What makes my life better? What makes my life fun? And I tend to go toward a business platform that I feel passionate about, gets me excited. So, and the third component to this was my mother had passed away very suddenly in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give you, this is important to the story, so I have to just give you a little backstory. My mom was the most amazing woman on the planet. I mean, she really, really was. Actually, Janet can tell you, the night before my mom passed away, we were on a video call And my
Mhm.
mom was so excited to show her the leg warmers she had bought someone for
I remember
Christmas.
that. I remember that. She was so
Oh, she was
adorable.
a ham. She was totally a ham. She was so much fun. But
She
my mom
was.
had had an earlier stroke in like early in the 2000s, and she had developed something called aphasia. So she had problems talking, and so she had very limited vocabulary, even though she knew it in her head. It just wasn't coming out her mouth. So she
Mm,
started calling everyone sweetie. It was
mm,
easy, right? It was kind of easy for her. It was safe,
mm,
in case she forgot someone's name or couldn't say their name. So she just called everyone sweetie. And she called all my
mm,
kids little sweetie. And the other thing about my mom was she absolutely loved candy. So when she passed away, of course, we had to start putting her stuff away and whatever. And I had to get some stuff out of her purse. And I reached in her purse. I'm not even joking. I must have pulled out, I don't know, probably 50 jelly beans and pink peppermints covered in lint out of her purse. That woman always had candy. Anytime the kids asked her for something, she always had gum or a sucker or something. She was the biggest kid I've ever met.
mm.
And so putting all those factors together, um, uh, just a few months before COVID hit, I saved up enough money to open my very own candy store. And affectionately, after my mom, it's called Sweetie's Candy and Gifts.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's I find it fascinating that you say this, Amy. And the reason being it's like you come up with ideas of businesses or people I would say people like us that are very like emotionally attached to
Mm-hmm.
family or memories or sentiments. Like and there's a reason for me telling you this. I have a business idea and I haven't figured out how to implement it yet in honor of my sister-in-law that passed
Mm-hmm.
away last year because she had esophageal cancer and she couldn't eat her favorite foods anymore.
Oh.
So she would like I remember being with her. I took care of her before she passed away. I was with her. And we spent like a month in the hospital. I was with her every day in the hospital. I remember um, sitting and watching TV, right? And she would see like, let's say a Burger King commercial, and she's like, I'm never gonna eat a hamburger again. And then she would be
Sad.
like, and then her birthday was coming up. She's like, all I want is angel hair pasta and meatballs. I want your brother's meatballs. Like she would say that. And all of a sudden I was like, like, how can I do this for her? Like I'm still trying to come up. Well, I have a name, like a name for it. It's called Lickables. And like, I want to have a way of having somebody that can't eat's favorite foods in a lickable version that they don't feel like they're missing out, but they get the taste of it. Like I was just
That's
like,
a really cool idea.
so if anybody out there knows how to get this cookie, they help me. Like,
Lickables.
it's funny that I'm just saying, but I'm
That
saying
is
this,
cool.
I'm saying this for the reason being, it's like sometimes there's a reason that's a catalyst for someone who's a visionary.
Absolutely. Like, business ideas. I didn't, I have to whisper this a little bit. I didn't have the best proposal in the whole wide world. Just saying. Love him. He's wonderful. Not the most creative fellow I've ever known in my life. Um,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, I should start a business called Pop the Proposal. For all those guys out there that haven't got a stinking clue what to do for their fiancés and how to
Mhm.
do it. And we'd be a little company that would go set something up or have all the decor, or we would basically plan their proposal for them. Like,
Oh,
and I've
Amy,
mentioned it to a few guys. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the best
both
idea."
her.
I'd pay $1,000 for someone else to plan this with the
Mm,
personal touches, you know. Oh,
mm.
Leslie, oh, to
Aw.
have like those personal touches in there that mean something to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is you have to be a 98 percenter. I can think of, actually, me, I can't even think of brand names. So I'd be no good trying to appeal to a small percentage of people that have a lot of money. I'd
Mm.
rather appeal to a large amount of people who have a little bit of money that I can.
Mm.
And I wanted to create a space with the store, the candy store, where you could walk in, be transported back to your childhood with nostalgic candy, and leave stress at the door and walk in and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Giggle, laugh, you know.
You know, it's, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you just had me thinking of something. So, for myself, and I bring this up all the time, how, my dad passed away when I was 8.
Mhm.
And I I still go to therapy because of, like some traumas around that. And so just talking to my therapist about this, and I always bring this up every so often. I'll be like, I'm such a 5-year-old. I'm such a 5-year-old. So like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm such a 5-year-old, right? And she goes, we're going to talk about that next week. And I'm like, what does that mean? And so we talked about it this week. And I said, what? Remember when I said I'm a 5-year-old and you wanted to talk about it? And she was like, yeah, let's talk about it. So she's like, do you know why you want to be a 5-year-old, or you call yourself a 5-year-old? I'm like, not really. She's like, because you're transported back to a time where you were the most happiest in your life.
Mhm.
You had no stress, and you had no,
You had a dad.
I had a dad,
Mhm.
and it's like, because, even though he died when I was 8, he was in that, oh, I get emotional even talking about this.
Mhm.
He really was like in and out of the hospital since I was 6.
Yeah.
So 5 is like, to me, was like, everything was still status quo, was normal,
Perfect.
it was
Yeah.
fun, it was perfect. I had my dad. There was no upset. I remember my mom being twisted up all the time 'cause she was so worried about my dad.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, why wouldn't you want, and I know we're going off on another tangent, but why wouldn't you wanna go to a place that transports you back to a time when you were the happiest? So what a beautiful experience you're giving.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I live in a really small town. And all of the towns I live in something called the Annapolis Valley. And the valley is connected, all these little towns connect the valley. And in every town, in every small town in Nova Scotia, there is the little corner store that had the penny candy, that had, the chips and the pop shop pop and the, yeah, like all of that stuff. And you often, I mean, of course, these were the good old days when there wasn't all this technology. So
Mhm,
the big thing was to get together with your friends and go to the store, or stop
mhm,
there on the way home from school, or if you did something good, you got taken to the store, or heaven
mhm.
forbid you stole something from the store and you had to be taught the lesson of having to take it back. Like, the store
Yeah.
was the connector of so
Mm.
many memories. You go to the swimming pool, but you go to the store on the way to the swimming pool to get a freezy. Like, it
Mhm.
it really is that special. It's just a special moment that is combined into so many moments that you don't even realize it until you walk into one and go, oh my gosh, Astro Pops. I remember licking them down till they were super pointy and then poking my sister with them, or that's my own story, just saying. Or like, just so many things, or you seeing things that your mother ate or your grandmother had to have.
Mhm,
And I try to carry all of that, like every era,
mhm,
even every country, in my store. So,
mhm,
needless to say, I was super excited. I was, and I started this. We're lucky too. Small towns don't cost much to run business,
mhm,
and I had a partner when I first started, and we secured the building, and $5,000. We were up and running. No debt, no debt to start.
mhm.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
but then, dun dun dun. Yeah, we didn't have a crystal ball, sadly. Yeah,
Mhm. COVID hit, right?
COVID hit. So we opened in October of 2019. Record break. I mean, October, November, December, January, and February. For our area, I mean, we did close to 6 digits in 6 months, which is huge for this area.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we got shut down. Yeah.
And how long were you
So,
shut down for, Amy?
well, like everyone else, you know, those first couple of months of COVID was so unsure. Nobody wanted to leave their house. Nobody wanted
Mm.
to. So we weren't technically shut down,
Mhm.
but nothing was open, and they were telling everyone to stay home and not leave their
Mm.
houses.
Mhm.
So that should have been a clue, though. Thinking back, that was a way that
Mhm.
they got out of helping financially, was saying,
Mm.
but we didn't tell you to close. Anyway,
Mm.
that's another story. But so yeah, the first couple of months we were closed down. We reopened again. One thing about Nova Scotia is this: it became a very desirable place to live because the numbers here were so low, super low. However, that was the rub too, is that we were shut down a lot. I mean, there were 3 different times that the store was shut down. Like we were
Mm.
shut and everyone was told to be home. People here are very obedient, very respectful of rules, and very
Mhm.
overcautious because we live in a dense area of senior citizens. Like
Mm.
the population here over 65 is really high.
Oh.
And so when you tell us to stay home, we really do for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like, yeah. So many businesses went under during COVID in this
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
And that's the sad part. Like, so, I'm just hearing you, right? And I'm hearing what the store means to your little town or means to you or what it does for people, right? And now you look at, all this stuff that happened because of COVID. It's like people just shop online and nobody goes and has an
Oh,
experience anymore. There's no experience of shopping. There's no shopping experience anymore. Like I think about it too. So where I live, um, uh, actually a friend's wife had this store, bookstore,
mm-hmm.
in this little town called Sag Harbor. Cute. I think I was telling you a story the other day when I spoke to you,
Mm-hmm. I
right?
love this though.
So the store's magical. The store, like she made it look like, so it was a bookstore. She's really into books. And the store was like transported to like Harry Potter. It looked like Harry Potter. It was so cool. It had like chalk on the walls and it had the sliding book, the staircase that you would slide across the bookshelves and you could walk up and pick up your book off the top of the shelves. And then like the rent went from, I don't know, something ridiculous like 16,000 a month to like 22,000 a month. And like, what kind of
I
bookstore
can't even
can
imagine.
even sustain that? So like they basically priced her out of the store.
Yeah.
And it was just such a beautiful experience. Like you would go there and you'd feel like a little kid again going into the bookstore. And then she had like a tea shop there and she had like all kinds of cool stuff, right? So then she gets ousted out of there from the price. And then she finds this other space and it basically looked like a little tree fort. It was like the stairs up there and it looked like this cutest little tree fort. Gets priced out of there. And she's like, I can't
Yeah.
do this anymore. And at some point, it's like you look at people are visionaries on what something is so different or something that can make people just escape life for a little bit without going on vacation, like the expense of a vacation, right? They could just go and sit somewhere. And I even noticed like we used to have like a Barnes and Noble here. We don't have that anymore. It's like there's no place to have an experience anymore.
Jana, I've been saying this forever. I'm telling you, we're moving into an era that to me is extremely scary. Maybe it
Mhm.
isn't to the millennial
Yeah.
ages and younger, but we're heading toward the loss of human connection.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
You know, people don't go to libraries anymore because you can go to libraries online. People don't go to bookstores anymore because all the books are online. And if you need to buy a book, you buy it online. Experiences are online, meeting people, dating. Like, and I feel so sorry for the people that will never understand what it is like to have a girl gang, or, you know, that real connection that you and I like have been able to you know, have in our generation, our age group. I keep encouraging my kids. Gosh, like even this year, I said, this is ridiculous. I want a pen pal. I want to write people a letter. I don't want to. I don't want to miss out on or let go of those traditions. But my kids don't even know how to write cursive. They don't have a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 4 of them, and 2 of them are adults, and one of my daughters had taught herself because she thought it was awful that she didn't know how to write cursive. So yeah, it worries me. It worries me for small businesses. It worries me for a multitude of reasons. Just what will never be for them. And we need to encourage, you know, small business owners to live out their passion and their dreams, because it's literally going to be a thing of the past soon.
Yeah.
And it's because of things like that. You could have a bookstore online for $0, right?
Exactly.
And just get lost in amongst, but you're never going to have tea in a little tree house. And what's the best part of going to that store? It's not the book, it's the experience. Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because like I think about, you know, you're just talking about your store, right?
Yeah.
And I'm remembering being a kid in Brooklyn when I grew up in Brooklyn, and there was the soda shop. It was like the soda shop, and it was the long counter. I could actually close my eyes and I could picture it. And we would get something called, I don't know if you guys have them there in Canada, but they call them egg creams.
Yes.
You know, so we egg cream, and it was an experience because, well, we had the experience. So like, this is a really funny story. So my hair, when I was a kid, my hair was really, really long. Me and my sister's hair were like ridiculously long, like down to my butt. And my mother wouldn't wash my hair or like teach me how to like do my hair. So every Saturday she took me to the beauty parlor for them to wash my hair and do my hair because it was so long and she couldn't handle it. I was like a kid, you know, I was like young.
Yeah.
And then we would go to the soda shop after we got the hair done. I remember that. And it was like it was like the day experience with my mom was to go to get my hair washed and blown out and go to the soda shop. And
see, it's so funny you say that. Like, so back in the day, you know, we have department stores now, like Walmart and stuff, but we had department stores in the 80s. We had a retail chain called Zellers. And it was a department store, but within the department store, there was a restaurant with this, like, you know, and you could go in and you could eat, and they had like milkshakes and they had all this. I'm telling you, my kids don't remember a single time I ever took them to the Walmart, but I remember every time my mom took me to Zellers, because either I'd get lost in the racks or every time we made it like a tradition to go and have something to eat or have ice cream or something if I was good while she was doing her shopping in Zellers. Like, it's, I don't know. It's so, I want to build a whole community of like nostalgic 70s and 80s stuff, and I want to live there for the rest of my life.
Love that.
And you know me, I'm not joking. I don't like, I begrudgingly have a cell phone, but I just got that, 6 months ago?
You have a cell phone?
Yeah, I do.
You never
I can never find it. It's
how come I never got that phone number, Amy?
I'll give it to you, but good luck getting a hold of me. Like, I'm not kidding you. Good luck getting a hold of me, Janet.
I
because
see
it
that.
is buried at the bottom of my purse or something. Like, I can't even do it. I can't stand it.
Amy
I
likes
love,
to live
yeah,
in nostalgia world, and it's funny because I'm transported back to another time in my life where when I was a kid, I worked at this pharmacy, this like it was like a variety store. I guess it was more like something you'd call maybe like a Dollar Tree now or something like that, like a dollar
yeah,
store. But it was called Center Island Pharmacy. I was a kid. I worked there from 14 to 18 years old. And Center Island Pharmacy was the same thing. It was like almost like a huge Walmart or like a dollar store, but it was so cool. And it had all like kind of funky things. And then the other side of the store was a donut shop. Like
right.
they had the donut shop and they made homemade donuts there. And this guy Al worked there, and he had a regular job. He was like trying to remember what he was. He was like an aeronautics or something. Like he was super super smart. But he would come in on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and he would make the donuts. Like he just loved it so much. He
Well, you think about it, anything to do with our palate, right? Anything to do with our palate is what triggers memories. You know,
Mm,
like anything. So whether it be candy or when you smell something and it just takes you back to your mom's kitchen or
yeah,
your grandmother's kitchen. I mean,
yeah.
there's a reason they don't ask people on death row whether they want their last text or not. They last meal, like give them one last happy memory before they die, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, food is everything. Food and smell, and it just it can take you to a place where all the antidepressants and therapy in the world can't take you.
Mm.
It can transport you literally back in time.
Oh,
And that's what I wanted to create. I just wanted to create this beautiful space where people could walk in and just breathe. Have a minute of stress-free shopping, giggle and laugh, and maybe take a few things home and start making memories with their own kids.
mm.
That's what I wanted. And it's been hard. It's
Mhm.
This is the most challenging. Everyone told me I should have quit a long time ago, but you know me, I'm too stubborn like a bull.
Mhm.
And I just can't. We're barely hanging on by a thread, but I will not give up on my dream.
Mhm.
And some days I wake up and I'm feeling super resilient. And like I was telling you the other day, Janet and I had a great talk, and I said some days I wake up feeling like a complete failure, you know, especially when you have those emotions involved in your business.
Mhm.
There's a real fuzzy line between doing what is logical and doing the opposite. you know,
Yeah.
saying, no, 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 I'm going to hang on a little bit longer. No, I'm going
Yeah,
to hang
because
on a
that's
little bit longer.
vision. Because that's vision, Amy.
And I
The
do,
difference.
I have huge vision for this store. Huge, massive vision. And that's why I can't quit when things get hard. I
But
just can't.
that's what resilient is, right?
Mm,
It's like, here's the thing. You think about probably Thomas Edison or somebody, who invented the light. You think that happened on the first shot? The person who invented the car. You think of all the times like you only saw the successes. You didn't see the
mm-hmm.
failures, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, how many times do you pick yourself up by the bootstraps and be like, I'm going to do this, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't look exactly the way I pictured it right now?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, I've had to pivot. Oh, look, pivot. I've pivoted so much, like I'm not really sure which direction I'm going anymore.
Mm,
Um, but my pivots have all worked. And um, the other thing I am, which is very different from other people in business that I know, but I'm very transparent with my customers. I have an amazing Facebook page. I have close to
mhm,
6,000 people who follow my page, and I'm
mhm,
honest with every one of them. Like I just got done saying, literally, you could go back and read it, and it says, the store is pretty empty right now. It's very empty right now, And, for the next little while, we're going to be focusing a lot on Dirty Pop. I'll explain that after.
Yeah.
It's just a drink that we make and serve in the store. But our shelves are empty. And I even said to them, I could make an excuse and tell you that a stock is behind or whatever, and that's not true. And I don't want to be dishonest with my customers. The truth is I don't have the capital to place a big inventory order, and so it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a little while. So I hope you're all really thirsty. That's what I said too. I just hope you're all really thirsty, so you can come in and and support us, and we can make the money to. And my customers are so amazing. Like, they don't fault me for this. They don't think I'm weak for being honest.
Oh my gosh, no.
And sometimes when you're honest, that's when people support you more. Like, they are there for you. They know that you're struggling, and like $5,000 may not seem like a lot of money to some people, but it's the world to me. It just sounds like peanuts, but after COVID, it's not. My 5,000 is someone else's 2 million. It's all relative. It's all very relative.
Of course.
But we're hanging in there. We're getting there. We're trying. I'm not going away.
But it's because of your vision, Amy. Like, what people, what I'm trying to, I guess what I'm trying to like really knock home to people is vision is everything for people, because it's so easy to quit. There's so many days, like just even myself in business or things in my life that I've wanted. It's like, it's so much easier to give up. It's so much easier to give up, but then you end up with a vision of what you want for your life. And, like I share all the time, like my vision is to touch the masses when people, and it could be in coaching, it could be in anything, or just showing a kindness, highlighting somebody like you. And it was a vision of mine to touch more people. And then this lovely man, Steve Vaccaro, showed up and offered me a talk show. It's like, it might not look exactly what I was expecting it to look like, but it's still part of my vision, right? It's like,
it is.
It's a piece of a vision. And Amy, for me, it's like, you're so resilient, and you've had so many different things go on in your life, and you've always picked yourself up.
Let me just tell you, like, I love being a resilient person. I love being a positive person too. And sometimes just, sometimes resilience feels really heavy. Like, sometimes you sit back and go, okay, no, I've been resilient for, the better part of 80% of my life. I'd really like a break right now, And I've just learned that some people will be tested a little bit more than others. Some people will be asked to walk a different journey than others. I try to find the gifts in all of that, whether it be wisdom, whether it be humility, whether it be kindness to someone who is down on their luck. Man, I'm telling you, I pay it forward whenever I can, because I've had some really kind people in this past couple of years. I've even had a customer who has turned into a very good friend, at one point in time offered to buy some stock for our store. Like, I have those kind of people in my life. My family have been fantastic. But resilient, but it sometimes it is really hard to be resilient all the time. It's I've had an awful lot of experiences in the past 6 months where I just wish somebody would come and pick me up and carry me for a little while, But then I kind of bounce back and think, well, at least I can, Some people can't. I can, Sometimes
it's about gratitude, right?
It is gratitude, yeah. Yeah. And you have to keep trying. You have to keep that in mind. Like sometimes it's, I don't want to be one of those people that is just like, oh, just be grateful and everything will be fun. No, you know what? Sometimes you got to feel your feelings too. And sometimes, um, I don't know if this is a PG-13 show or not, um, but I'll keep it there. But there's a few words, I want to say right now that it's just like, all right, like enough. And I have to be in those feelings for a bit. I cannot be emotionally dismissive of
Um,
myself,
mm,
because I'll tell you, that's where things get scary for me. Is if I try to dismiss every negative emotion that I have,
mm,
uh yeah, shit goes a little sideways
mm,
because it feels wrong. But I don't allow myself to stay in it for too long. And
mm.
um, but if it means that I need to take a big girl time out for 2 or 3 days and sit with it for a little while and just say, yeah, like dialogue with self. You're right, Amy. This sucks.
Mhm,
This isn't fair. This isn't your fault.
mm,
Um, it may feel like it is, but this is not your fault. And you're okay. Sometimes that's what I need to do to remind myself of how far I've come, what I've walked through, and where I can go if I just stay the course.
mm. And I'm hearing you say about the feeling of the feelings, because there's been so many times I've had people, certain experiences in my life, and people be like, just move on, or just don't think
Oh,
about it, or don't. And it's like, that doesn't make sense either, because you're just lying to yourself that
I'll
you
tell
have.
you something. My friend Angie, she really got me the other day. And a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now.
Sure,
And a lot of people in the world are going through a lot of stuff.
absolutely.
But when the war first, or the unrest got really bad over in the Ukraine, and
Mm,
I was noticing a lot of people, well, don't feel that way because at least you're not in the Ukraine, or at least you're not blah blah, not blah blah blah. That, oh gosh, pardon me, that's not what I meant at all. But at
mm,
least you're not one of those people that is hiding in a bomb shelter tonight or whatever.
mm,
And I actually posted something to that effect, and she blasted me like, that's being emotionally dismissive. You don't live in the Ukraine, which is probably a good thing. But what you are feeling right now is
mm,
not to be buried, because you feel like your problems aren't as big as somebody else's problems.
mm, mhm.
And I think we do that a lot. And I think that's why we constantly, have you ever noticed like the whole um, hashtag something, whatever it is, strong at the moment? And it's like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, why do we always have to be that strong? Does that make sense?
Totally.
Why can't we settle into the stuff that doesn't feel good for a minute and not feel guilty about it?
Mm,
You know, not be made to feel like our problems aren't equal to someone who's going through complete devastation. You know, we have to learn to have as much empathy for ourselves as we have for people going through horrific things in this world, because
mhm,
we can't truly give um, love and healing and well wishes and all of those things from our cup if it's half full.
mm,
Can't give from a cup that's not full.
mm,
And so we have to give as much empathy and love to ourselves when
mm,
we're in that disaster moment relatively in our own life, before
mm,
we can ever truly give the energy out to the world that we're supposed to.
mm. Oh my
Deep
gosh.
Thoughts by Amy Sentis.
This make me laugh. I don't have to, but But it's so true. It's like we'll almost make ourselves feel guilty for feeling
Yes.
our feelings
Yes.
when your feelings are valid. You know, I mean, it's like if if you don't validate your own feelings and learn how to heal those feelings, because
Hmm.
there's healing in feeling them. I feel like people think you're supposed to stuff them down.
They do. They tell you to. When
It's
they
like,
tell you, like
no.
literally, when someone says, "Oh, for goodness sakes, just move on," or if oh, I hate this one. Like when my mom died, it was like, "Oh, time will heal." Oh, I wanted to do the with a and smack, smack, smack. I wanted to just smack people all over the place. And
Mhm.
I'm very cognizant now of what I say to people in grief and what not to say. And again, that's from having to go through hard times to get to where you are now. But I never
Mhm.
say that to people now. I just say, you're feeling unimaginable pain. And I know that feeling. I've
Oh,
experienced that in my life. So therefore, I'm not going to give you any, antidotes of any kind other than I am here if you need to talk and I love you. That is
mm.
it.
And what's better
No,
than that?
yeah, no, I'm sending healing, loving vibes to you. Really? What does that mean? What's that mean?
Mm.
And yeah, like I just, but I'm telling you, if you become aware of it, you will see so much throughout the run of a day
Mm.
how people do tell you to silence your feelings if they're not comfortable feelings en masse.
Mm.
Because nobody wants to deal with people's negative feelings. They don't know what to do with them. How many people say, I don't know what to do when you cry? I don't know. I'm so used to you being so happy. I don't know what to do with you right now.
Mm. I've had that before. It's like,
Yeah.
are you going to be sad all the time?
Yeah. Is this the new normal?
Right. I'm like,
Well,
I don't
maybe it
have a
is.
crystal ball.
Yeah. Like, hold on. I just checked and I've been in crisis for exactly 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Might you give me another 24 hours? What's this big race to, like, I don't know. Like my daughter just experienced a breakup. Her heart was broken and
Broken.
it was awful. And I really did just want to say, oh my gosh, can we not just listen to Adele, eat some Ben and Jerry's, and get over this? Like,
Mm.
and I was like, honey, you're gonna feel whatever way you need to feel.
Mm.
Get it out. Like, feel it.
Yeah,
Feel it.
of
So that you
course.
don't take those bad feelings to the next relationship that you have.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, heart pain is so bad. I remember,
Oh, heart pain's
oh,
awful.
I remember that happened to Olivia one time, my daughter, and she was experienced a breakup, and I remember like just watching her wallow in it, and oh
Oh,
my god, as a mom,
no.
you just oh my gosh, you just want to pick them up, wrap them in your arms, and she wanted nothing to do with me. It was like, let me just
Yes. Oh,
and
that's
she
the worst.
but she felt her feelings and
Yeah.
she stuck with it for a little bit. And as a mom, you get worried, but she got
And
up
of
with it.
course, you do have to be, you have to be, uh, I'm a little bit more diligent about watching my kids for being
Yeah,
too much in their feelings, only
right.
because we do live in a different era. Screen
Mhm.
time
Yeah,
causes depression,
yeah,
big time.
yeah,
They're stuck and glued to their phones.
yeah,
You don't know who they're communicating with half of the time, and
yeah.
um, what is going on behind the scenes that you don't know about as a parent. So
Mhm.
I mean, I do interfere a little bit, but generally speaking, though, it's like just you know, yeah, this sucks. I'm not going to try and make you feel better about it because these feelings that you experience, they are real and they are awful, but they're also a big part of life. They're a
Yeah.
big part of life. You don't want to hear that though at that moment.
Mm.
Just like I don't want people to tell me when I'm in the depths. Oh my gosh, I sound like Anne of Green Gables. When I'm in the depths of despair, like really just feeling it and trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, how I'm going to do it. Am I going to let this vision go? Am I going to feel like I'm letting my mother down because I named a store after her? You know, when I get to that point, you know, I got to tell you, that's where some of my best ideas come from. A sense of urgency, you know, because you really got to really dig down deep to try and figure out how you're going to get yourself out of this hole. And some of my best ideas have come from that. But the last thing I want to hear from anybody when I'm in that moment is, you know, nothing's going to get accomplished if you continue to feel like this. Or, you know, luckily I don't have too many people that challenge my emotions in my life, which is really, really, I consider a big blessing. Like, thank goodness.
Yeah, I really don't.
No, I have set good boundaries. I think it's about boundaries, setting those boundaries and not letting people interfere with the things that you have made a very direct stance on. Like, nuh-uh, boundary breaker. Then you're out. You shoot. And I've shooed a few times.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's fascinating that you're saying that too, because I was just at my office yesterday and we were just talking about, I was talking with the girl that works with me. We were talking about, I was talking about way back when I called myself a chronic people pleaser.
Oh, disease to please.
Yeah, like I'm a people pleaser. And so I had so many friends, but you know, were they really friends? They were really more like acquaintances. It was like my circle was really big.
Yeah.
But yet it was really kind of small when you think about
it.
That's because
exactly how I am.
Right? Did those people really know me? Did they know who I am? Now my circle is really super small, but the people that know me, they get me.
Absolutely.
You know, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, they get me. I don't have to pretend to be somebody else. It's like, I don't know. It's just different.
I've gotten rid of any person in my life that commands my attention on a daily basis. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, one of my dearest and best friends in Calgary, Jenny. God love the girl.
Jenny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You met Jenny.
Yeah.
I think you met Jenny in Vegas.
I did.
Yeah. Like, she will text me on this phone that I don't even answer.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And I won't get back to her for weeks. And then I'll just be like laying in bed and thinking, I should FaceTime Jenny. And I'll FaceTime her. And it's, you know, she calls me a few choice names for ignoring her. And then it's like, so what'd you have for supper tonight? You know, like, we just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
And it's the same with my friend Angie. She only lives 2 minutes away from me, but we could go days without even talking. And then we get caught up and I get to find out all her outdoor adventures that her and her husband went and did. And they're really big into outdoor camping and stuff. And I'm like, boo. Do that with him. We don't need to do that. You and I, we go down to the Marriott down in Halifax. That's what we do together. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've done that. But we like to go, you know, for dinner and shopping and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I don't spend time with people who command me to. And if I don't, I feel those guilty feelings like, oh, I forgot to call so-and-so, or I forgot to text so-and-so today. No.
Yeah, that's what boundary setting.
Boundary setting is so important. Yeah, we weren't planning on talking about boundaries tonight, were we?
I told you, Amy.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I was like, we might talk about candy for a minute, but we're going to go over about 50 different subjects.
Because we can't just
talk about, like 5 minutes left to go. We don't even have time to talk about anything else new.
No. We don't.
No.
But that's good though, Amy. But
I know.
that's the beauty of this. It's like my vision for this show too was to not be so strict and rigid. So it's like
Right.
I want to just get to know the person. We're just having coffee talk like we talked about, right? It's like we're just having a conversation. And because if I'm scripted, I'm not speaking from my heart either, and neither are you. And so
Don't you find it interesting too, though, Janet? Like, this is almost taboo now. It's like, if I see one more time on Facebook or Instagram or any of those, who am I fooling? I'm not on Instagram. I only understand Facebook. I'm old. I don't get Instagram or anything. So, but if I see it one more time on Instagram, how people say, they get so angry if people call them instead of texting them. And there's all these memes like about if you, anyway, no one talks on the phone anymore. No one talks.
It's the craziest thing.
It's like if you call someone, they're like, I don't know what to say to you. My kids don't even know how to answer our home phone without getting all weird and like awkward, like they're at their first dance and got felt up by a boy. Like they're like,
I thought this was a PG show, Amy.
They're throwing the phone back and forth to each other. You answer it. You answer it. You answer it. I'm like, answer the phone.
They don't. You know, and like you're talking about this whole thing, people just are so caught up in the texting, and
there's no tone in text.
There's no tone in text, and you don't. Do you really know somebody from text? And I'm not saying you shouldn't text. Texting warrants a certain thing when it's like you can't really talk on the phone at that point. You need to communicate at some point. But yeah, my best communication skills come from speaking it out loud. You know,
if I am talking to a friend,
yeah,
I want to talk with my mouth to a friend. Like,
I love that. But it's true.
Talking become this, and like, can I not? I'm blind also. I mean, I can barely see this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm very grateful for you, Janet, that we can get on a telephone call and yak like sorority sisters.
Yeah. I'm like, if we don't have a long period of time, like, what do? I'm like, Aim, I got 15 minutes.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like I got 15 minutes, and so we make it more. We speed talk in 15 minutes.
Either that, or you're like lounging on a beach chair, showing me your tan in Florida, while I'm in minus 30-degree Canadian weather. And we have a great show. Yeah, I'm very grateful for our friendship. I really am, and I love what you're doing. I know that we have to wrap it up here soon, and I'm so grateful for what you're doing in this platform too, and it's needed. People love being voyeuristic in on other people's conversations, and so you're having some really good ones. You're having some really good conversations.
Well, and you know what it is? Because it's stuff that people want to talk about.
Yeah,
they don't know how to talk about it, or they don't know where to get and then they like, wow, I was thinking that, but I didn't know how to verbalize that, or I didn't know that other people thought the same thing. You know, sometimes it's just a way of making people feel like they're not crazy too, you know?
I'm telling you, I want a podcast. I do.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you, I do. And I want no subject off the table or language. I've been a good girl on this call.
You were.
Most people that know me know that I do tend to sometimes, when I get passionate, I do talk like a bit of a truck driver. Not that all truck drivers swear, but I know some that do. Yeah, no,
we're going to wrap it up, but would you just tell people a little bit like how to get in touch with Sweeties, if there's a website? Like,
well, don't look for us on Instagram or TikTok, because I don't know how to do those things. And that's not even true. I do have somebody that anyway, but Facebook, Sweeties Candy and Gifts. You can find us online. Like have a peek. Follow our page. The more followers, the better. We often do Facebook Live videos from our store. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you know what you do when this is all over, Amy? Just even if you want to put the link to the Facebook group in
Sure.
like the comments or something, that'd be cool.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you. This was so awesome.
I love you, my friend.
I love you too, my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on. Thank
We'll
you for
get through
agreeing.
all this. We'll get through all of it.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely.
Between you and I, we might come up with 10 new businesses in between.
That's right. That's right.
Mwah. I love you
I
so
love
much.
you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Janet.
Thanks, hon. Isn't that so cool? Yeah, I go up on different tangents. We can't help it sometimes, but yeah, go check out Amy's page, Sweeties, Candies, and Gifts in Nova Scotia. Go on her Facebook page, support her and her vision for her amazing candy shop, a candy and gift shop. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week. Mwah. Love you guys. Good night.